This bombshell reporting, you say that this interaction involved a promise to a foreign leader. White House records indicate that the president had conversations or interactions with at least 5 foreign leaders in the weeks before the complaint was filed on August 12th. Who are those leaders?
Well, on July 31st, he had a phone call with Russia President Vladimir Putin. The White House initiated. And then he also had communications with North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un. And he described in these letters having beautiful relationship and beautiful message. Then he met with other foreign leaders at the White House in July, including the Prime Minister of Pakistan and the Prime Minister of Netherlands and the Emirate of Qatar. We don't know for sure who the foreign leader was, but certainly Putin is of high interest.
So what role did the Department of Justice potentially play here? Is there a suspicion that DOJ told the DNI not to release this to Congress, as they would be obligated to do?
Well, we do know that the DNI went to the Justice Department, presumably the Office of Legal Counsel, and got some legal advice, and which resulted probably in this letter that the DNI sent back to the Hill and Adam Schiff, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, in which he basically said that he did not feel that this was a complaint that could be transmitted to the Hill because it did not rise to the level or threshold of an urgent concern as defined in the whistleblower statute. It's a little convoluted, but here, one of the elements of that, he says, and he cites the statute, is that the intelligence activity in question has to be under the responsibility and authority of the DNI. And evidently the DNI is claiming that this activity did not fall under his purview, and as such, this was not a valid complaint and could not be transmitted to Congress.
We have some very sad news to share. ABC News is now reporting that legendary journalist Cokie Roberts has died. She was a longtime Washington reporter. She was co-host of ABC This Week for years. She was inducted into the Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame. I'm going to read briefly from a statement from James Goldston. He's president of ABC News. Cokie Roberts will be dearly missed. Cokie's kindness, generosity, sharp intellect, and thoughtful take on the big issues of the day made ABC a better place and all of us better journalists. ABC says that her death was due to complications from breast cancer. She was a groundbreaking female journalist. She was a legend in the business. She was also an author. She wrote books about the Civil War. She wrote books about the women who took part in the founding of this nation. She was also a friend and mentor to many journalists, including myself. This is sad news to hear about Cokie, and we send our best to her family.
What have you heard from the auto manufacturers on this? But they have been in favor of these higher standards.
Yeah, that's the great irony. Who's he helping? Who is Donald Trump actually helping? He's not helping those 4 companies that have voluntarily agreed to California's higher standard. By the way, there would be more than 4 companies, Don, had he not now used the Department of Justice to do an inquiry as it relates to antitrust. That has chilled the other companies from joining California's standards. That's the nature of the reality we're living in. You have the President of the United States that is in a party that feigns that they support free enterprise, and they're calling CEOs to the mat and threatening them and using the Department of Justice to go after them to keep them from doing what they think is in their best interest and in their customers' best interest.
The GOP has always stood, at least they say they stood for states' rights, right? Yet this is a Republican administration exerting its authority over your state. Why do you think this is happening?
Federalism be damned, state rights, 10th Amendment be damned. Ronald Reagan, Richard Nixon be damned. Remember, the origins of this were Ronald Reagan, 1967, when he wanted to clean up the air down in Los Angeles, the smog. It led to the Clean Air Act in 1970. Richard Nixon, 1970, bipartisan. They'd be rolling their graves right now of what the Republican administration is doing, and moreover, what the Republican Party is doing. Complicit complete silence on states' rights, but also free enterprise. I'll repeat what I just said. They're calling private sector corporations to the mat and threatening them. Again, I don't think this. I know this from the personal conversations I've had and by the actions of the Department of Justice. What happened to the Republican Party?
In 2001, when I was a teacher out in Vancouver, I attended an end-of-year gala where the theme was Arabian Nights. And I dressed up in an Aladdin costume and put makeup on. I shouldn't have done that. I should have known better, but I didn't, and I'm really sorry. There are people who've made mistakes in this life, and you make decisions based on what they actually do, what they did, and on a case-by-case basis. I think I deeply regret that I did that. I should have known better, but I didn't.
How do you feel about this coming out right now in the campaign?
Obviously, I regret that I did it. It's not about timing. It's about having done something that I shouldn't have done, and I'm really sorry I did.
Is this the only time you've done something like this, Mr. Trudeau? Is that the only time in your life you've ever done something like that?
When I was in high school, I dressed up at a talent show and sang Dale with makeup.